Next, we have the Essentia crew, and I'm going to invite up Mr. David Carlin, test engineer. Is David here? Oh, here he is. Great. David?
Tight fit, huh? This thing on?
Yeah.
The posting on Craigslist said test engineer, Essentia Corporation, Seattle, Washington. It was late fall in 2008, and I was a controls engineer in Yakima, Washington, doing man-machine interfaces. I wanted a new gig. I simply could not go through another winter back and forth across the mountains between Yakima and Seattle. Within moments of looking at the Craigslist posting, I was on the Essentia website. Wow. If you've never been to the Essentia.com website, take a look. Very GQ. 100% Fortune 500, from first click to last. I was a little intimidated. In the engineering world, I'm small potatoes. And that's by Yakima standards. I kept clicking though, because I really wanted out of Yakima, till I clicked to the screen that said what the management team was at Essentia. Turns out that Essentia was founded by this dude by the name of Tim Stoner. Tim Stoner? Wow, like, this could really work, man. Now it's 2010, and this is the second year I've had the honor of attending a birthday party for Tim. Last year, the management team at Essentia took Tim out to dinner, actually lunch, at Red Robin over at Northgate. We had a great lunch, and after lunch, DOF, Director of Finance, Greg Logan, uncharacteristically picked up the check, picked up the tab. This didn't seem like Greg to me, but the hell, I'm new here. What do I know? Later, Greg announced that rather than making things complicated by everybody chipping in, there would be a convenient payroll deduction. $20 on our next check. No payroll deduction this year, guys, right? Am I right? Janie, this is so great. We're living large tonight. You and Kasha are truly, truly superwomen. Many of us know that you were actively involved in the planning of this last fall. Your hard work and attention to detail has really paid off big time.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Give it up. At least I forget, this is Mr. Stoner's 50th birthday. Happy birthday, Tim Stoner of Essentia.
Many more.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Tim, you're 50 now. You're beautiful just the way you are. Don't ever change. What am I talking about? Tim Stoner is all about change. Tim's visionary leadership has turned a small basement operation in his own home into a successful niche player on the world stage. That's a fact. Thank you, Tim. In the depths of the recession, with nothing more than a little experience and no credentials, I wanted a job in Seattle. I found a job and a work family at Essentia. Namaste, my friend. It's unclear to me exactly how Tim came up with the name Essentia. I know he recently changed the name of the company from Omnitronics to Essentia. I overheard Ron Churchill in customer service explain to someone that Tim had changed the name from one word that had no dictionary meaning to another word that had no dictionary meaning. Well, that's not exactly the way that Ron puts it, but I'm trying to put my own job at risk tonight, not anybody else's. The change from one made-up word to another made-up word has been tough on some of our customers, though. No, really. We still get the calls like, "Oh, hello, yes. Very, very good morning to you. Yes, this is Singing Ceylon. Please tell me I am speaking to Ask Entry Company." I see we have some Omni-Essentrians here tonight. Am I right? People from the company? All right. Well, we have a lot of process here at Essentia. You know the iPhone ads that say, "There's an app for that"? Yeah. Want to scare the bejesus out of your girlfriend? There's an app for that. Well, at Essentia, if you need to know something about your job, there's a document for that. For example, when I wanted to participate in the party tonight, I had the CSW, the DLO, about honoring the COO, who I figured I could PO just about as well as anyone. Well, I got the okay on my CSW from the COO, who told me to keep it under my HAT. Great. But now that I had the task, I had to figure out how to do the task. No problem. Through Tim Stoner's genius and the management teachings of L. Ron Hubbard, I knew there would be a document somewhere on the company land that in great detail explained every aspect of my task. I went through the PMDs and the AWIs. I scanned the DWGs, read through every PDF, and finally, slowly it dawned on me that unless I came up with something on my own, PDQ, and ran it by the DOF, I was going to be SOL. Yeah, the Essentrians know what I'm talking about. We have folks from Tim's church here tonight, am I right? Yeah. Give it up for the Stoners Church. Go. Church family, church family. Tim, how does it feel to have your religious beliefs misunderstood and maligned? How many times do you have to listen to, "You're the guys that don't go to doctors, right?" No, doofus. We're the guys working on getting people like you out of the gene pool. Tim, Bill Vineyard, Pete Dow, and my counterpart in test, men, all go to weekly Toastmasters meetings. Toastmasters is a club dedicated to competency in public speaking. In a recent speech of Toastmasters, Tim revealed to the world, to all of us that day at least, that that very day he would be having his vasectomy. True story. These days, a vasectomy is a simple office procedure However, during his speech, Tim seemed insistent that it be done by an actual doctor. It's a misunderstood procedure. Thank you. It's a misunderstood procedure. Some folks believe a vasectomy involves the removal of the entire testicular mass. Not true. That procedure is known as gelding. In his wisdom, Tim has reserved gelding for senior managers that screw up. No, a vasectomy involves an incision made in the left testes under local anesthesia, where the vascular furnace is retracted and split. The technical term for the resulting medical condition is known as shooting blanks. This is way different from gelding. I know when Scott Myers joined the company several years ago, he was going over his employment contract with Tim and had forgotten his glasses. He came to the gelding clause. He came to the gelding clause in the contract and he misread it as gilding. Now, Scott's an excellent process manager, and he's fully aware that gilding is the application of a thin layer of a precious metal to a surface. Scott figures he's golden. He says, "Sounds good to me, Tim." Sounds good to me, Tim, is something we say frequently at Centrium. True story. Tim has done so many great things with the company. But even with his enormous energy and drive, Tim sometimes comes up to a roadblock. Like when he decided to take the bulk of our manufacturing offshore. He soon realized that every single bit of our intellectual property would have to be converted to the metric system. Now, changing to a different measuring system in an engineering environment is a major task, but Tim had a different dilemma. That's because Tim had, ever since he met her, been telling Janie that this is 6 inches. Whatever the challenge, though, Tim Stoner and his colorful cast of Omni-Ascentrians are going to make it work out. Can we give it up for the Ascentrians? Thank you, yes. My coworker, my people. That's how we roll.